Good evening, I'm Sharon Thomas. 100 children have lost their secondary school places for September after the government pulled the plug on funding for a new free school. Governors at Fulham Boys have been told it can't open because of a row over the site, leaving parents desperately searching for new places. Nick Thatcher has been to speak to them.
And to be given something and then taken away from an 11-year-old is not on.
It is so
it's not on, that's right.
They'd chosen a new free secondary school for their sons, only to be told it will close before it even gets a chance to open. Fulham Boys was due to begin life in September, but in a row over premises, the government has pulled the plug on funding.
My son is saying, "Mummy, where am I going to school? What do you say?" What do you say? Sorry, darling, I don't know.
Disgusted, absolutely appalled. You know, we've been lied to from the beginning. We were lied to by the politicians.
The decision has to be overturned, and the government, Michael Gove's department, really has to see the sense and the feeling of anger from this community.
It was back in July 2012 when the Education Secretary approved the application for Fulham Boys School. In February this year, the school was given the green light for a temporary site in North Fulham. A month later, almost 100 boys gained places at what's billed as London's first free school for boys. But this week, the Department for Education announced the school can't open due to the lack of a permanent site.
You can't say to 10 and 11-year-old boys, sorry boys, the school you wanted, you're not getting, and you've got 2 weeks to sort it out. And you can't say to staff, I'm sorry you resigned your job, but there's no job for you to go in September. On every level, this is the wrong decision, and I think the least they can do, given that we've got a temporary site for 2 years, is at least let us open for 2 years.
Michael Gove's Department for Education has promised to work with the school so it can open at a later date. But in the meantime, it falls to the local Labour Council to help parents find places elsewhere.
We're going to do everything we possibly can to assist those families. It's outrageous what's happened, and actually we'll work with him to help him do his job too, if that's what it takes to get this fixed.
For these parents, though, the schools on offer are not the ones they would choose. But with the clock ticking, they may have little or no choice. Nick Thatcher, ITV News, Fulham.
Detectives investigating the murder of a man outside a school are questioning 4 people. 2 teenage girls are among those arrested after the 38-year-old was stabbed in Hendon yesterday afternoon. Police are asking witnesses to come forward, believing the man was being robbed when it happened.
All of a sudden there's like an army of police cars coming, also ambulances, and there's also a helicopter, like an ambulance helicopter. A bit later, I think that you could, I don't know if it was that you could actually see the body laying under something, but there was like something white there.
Conservative councillors in Tower Hamlets say they'll try and team up with Labour rivals to scrutinise Mayor Lutfur Rahman. Labour won 2 seats and the Conservatives 1 in the Blackwall and Cubitt Town Ward. The vote had been postponed from May when a candidate died just days before the election. Earlier this week, the elections watchdog ordered urgent improvements to be made after delays and allegations of voter intimidation at a previous poll. And one of Boris Johnson's deputies has been selected as a Conservative candidate at the next general election. Kit Malthouse, Deputy Mayor for Business and Enterprise, will take over the North West Hampshire safe seat. Now, preparations are underway for the biggest free event in sport, coming to London in just over 2 days' time. The Tour de France starts in Leeds tomorrow and passes through Essex and the capital on Monday. Cyclist Mark Cavendish is urging Londoners to soak up the indescribable atmosphere. Luke Hanrahan reports.
The curtain raiser for the world's most demanding race. It's only the second time in the Tour's 111-year history that it will start on British soil. For Mark Cavendish, who moved to 3rd in the all-time list of Tour de France stage winners last year, a chance to win in London.
My first Tour de France was in London in 2007 it started, and there was probably the best Grand Départ I've ever witnessed.
Here, preparations are well underway. 1 million people will line London's streets when the Tour de France comes here on Monday, and thousands of them will be watching it from fun parks like this one here in Trafalgar Square. It's expected that the Tour will deliver a £13 million boost to the capital's economy. Britain hosts 3 stages, the first from Leeds to Harrogate tomorrow, then York to Sheffield on Sunday, with gruelling hill climbs through the Pennines, and finally Cambridge to London on Monday, with a spectacular finish up the Mall.
Of course, we're closing all of the roads from where it comes into London, from Epping through Newham, Waltham Forest, and of course past London City Airport, having been through the Olympic Park, along the embankment and up to the Mall. Close the roads at 10 o'clock to make sure that the course is sterile, make sure that it's all organised. We've got some structures to put in place, and then we'll get those roads open just as soon as we can, as soon as the race has passed through.
One man who knows all about the physical preparation, Essex-based Vinnie Denson, raced in the Tour de France in the 60s. But things were a bit different in his day. Money was so tight, he sometimes had to scavenge for food from the fields.
Getting carrots, potatoes, sweet corn, onions, whatever we could get, you know. And then the local butcher would feel sorry for us and give us a nice piece of steak once a week, probably. So we had steak once a week.
Since 2007, London's love affair with cycling has blossomed. And when the event is broadcast in nearly 200 countries on Monday, the capital's growing reputation as a cycling city will strengthen. Luke Hanrahan, ITV News.
And you can find lots of information on the route, where to watch and where to avoid on Monday on our website, itv.com/London. Time now to take a look at the all-important weekend weather. Here's James Wright.
What's in store for today? ITV London Weekend Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Good evening. Wet weather with us overnight, but once that clears tomorrow, we're back into sunny spells, but expect a bit of a fresher feel and a fair few showers around. A wet night tonight, as I say, some heavy rain out there for quite a sustained period of time. Certainly not going to be a cold one though, lows of 15 or 16 Celsius. Tomorrow morning then, remnants of that wet weather still with us, but things will brighten up after breakfast. And apart from a couple of showers, not looking too bad. Highs of 22 Celsius, 72 Fahrenheit. Like I say, plenty of showers around over the next few days. See you well, night night.
ITV London Weekend Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
And that is it from us. We are back on air tomorrow evening, just after 6:30. For now, though, good night and have a great weekend.